lots of things going on in Mount Vernon since we last spoke. One of the key things that I know that has happened, there goes Jared. Everybody should be able to see Jared. Let me move my microphone. Actually, we'll sort that out in a minute. But nonetheless, I just want to make sure you know that after the show, another young person was tragically taken from us. Uh, Tamani Turner, he was 18 years old. He was a student at the Mount Vernon Steam Academy. And what I do know is he is someone that is another young life, unfortunately lost, that has truly been unfortunately affected by um, the gun violence. We don't know what to say other than we have to put an end to it. I'm happy to share and announce that Kayla Green's father, as many of you know, we celebrated or marked the 1 year anniversary of Kayla's passing. She had Kayla's mom, Laverne, and her Kayla's dad, Marlon. They had a celebration for Kayla's life last Saturday, and a few days before that, Tamani Turner was taken away by gun violence in Mount Vernon. And it's truly disheartening to see how young people in Mount Vernon are resulting to violence and have so much access to deadly weapons, illegal guns in specific. And something has to be done about it. Um, I just want to briefly say that Marlon and I are launching an initiative to get fathers involved. You'll hear about it in the coming days, but I just want you to know that there are fathers out there that care, that want to see these kids choose a different way. And we'll talk a little bit about that, but I just want to make sure you know that Kayla's dad and another set of parents that have lost children are going to get off the bench and really try and advocate to make some real change. Now, I believe we have a call on the line. Caller.
Hi, how you doing? It's Mondo again. How are you?
Hey, Mondo, what's doing? Thanks for calling in.
No problem. Problem. It all boils down to number one. Okay, I find that bail reform stuff and make things a lot tougher for these kids.
Hmm.
Because if you commit a crime with a gun or something like that, never mind getting slapped on the wrist and you're released 2 hours later. You got to serve 20 to 25 years behind bars.
Hmm.
Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is the administration for Mount Vernon. This mayor is not doing nothing. Okay, she has to have more law enforcement to get tougher. These guys need to be patrolling a lot more than they do. Okay, even if it means you have to go into a pharmacy, a store, a deli, a stationery store every now and then. Poke your head in a little bit, see what's going on. Just like with the Yonkers police bill, they go all over the place. They're constantly checking what used to be hot areas, but the Yonkers police they're doubling up on a lot of stuff, and these kids are not taking chances with guns in their hands because they know they're going to be behind bars for a while. But the main thing is, even the people of Mount Vernon, they're going to have to yell and scream at this governor because this lady it shouldn't even be governor because he's there for all the wrong reasons. Everybody is screaming at her to sign this mail reform thing, and she refuses to do it. So it's going to boil down to the police are going to have no choice but to start shooting these people, just to stop. And if it happens to be someone's kid, where the kid is 16, 17 years old with a gun into that, it's going to be a shame. But that's what it's going to boil down to.
And those are the things we want to avoid. We don't want, there to be a loss of life, especially unnecessarily and especially young. And that's why something has to be done about access to guns. And we can definitely, stop that iron pipeline. But your point is well taken about the police not being in position to keep the community safe. The reason why the police in Mount Vernon are not there is because this administration it has dismantled, skip, defund. They dismantled the Mount Vernon Police Department. You have over 115 officers have left due to retirement or transfers since this administration has come into place. And currently, right now, there are about 170 officers, working, but that's down from the full complement of 220. So even though there's funding for 220, you have more than half of the department leaving because of how this administration is managing or mismanaging public safety. And that's where you have these problems with, be it young people, be it, the violence we're seeing in the streets, the bail reform at the state level. Look, I see that there's a dialogue between the legislature and the governor, and they're trying to make, or at least the governor's trying to make some changes, but between the legislature and the governor's office, they're not doing enough. I can tell you this, and this is a quick example. Um, in August or September of 2022, a man got sucker punched in New York City. The governor suspended bail reform to make sure that that guy did not get out of jail. So if the governor has the power to, suspend it, then use it. Stop talking about it. Stop tinkering around the edges. Use your power and make sure that people are safe. And send a stronger signal that that New York is not going to be, soft on crime. And that's what Mount Vernon is. Mount Vernon has become a shooting gallery on this administration, and it's terrible.
Well, until somebody grabs the governor or face it to a wall or beats the shit
Political
out of
wall, not yeah, yeah, I know, but we don't wish harm on anybody. But I understand what you're saying. You got to wake up.
well, I'm not wishing it on. I think it's what he does. They shall change the bail reform. Okay? Now, this was when he called me the mayor of Mount Vernon. You know what? Everybody should be screaming and yelling, either change her, when the governor's coming again, get rid of her, or try to set up an impeachment process because this lady is not deserved to be. What she's doing is destroying Mount Vernon, making it worse. Where anybody who wants to come into Mount Vernon or go somewhere, they're going to wind up carrying. If you know what I'm talking about, because they're not going to go in there empty-handed because all these kids are where they're getting these guns. Where the governor is supposed to step in and have maybe the National Guard or the Secret Service agents, whatever, find out where these kids are getting the guns.
Well, I can tell you right now, we don't need that extreme of a response, but I do think that there is an opportunity to just directly engage the kids. And Mondo, I want you to call back in. We have another call on the line, and we also have a youth in Mount Vernon here that can speak to some of this. But that's to me one of the most simplest things is to grab the kids, talk with them, get them engaged, connect them with small businesses, help them to realize that there's opportunities, to work and build up the city as opposed to breaking each other down. But again, it takes leadership, it takes, compassion, it takes a group of people that cares. And Mondo, I'm gonna ask you to call back in. We have this other call on the line. Caller.
Okay.
Thank you, Mondo. And I know we're coming up on break, but caller, hey Lorraine, thank you for calling in, Lorraine. And if we get cut off by break, just hang on the line.
Okay, I just want to know, what does Board of Ed say about all of this? I mean, the young man that was killed, was at the Steam Academy, which is, I mean, he was doing what he was supposed to be doing, going to school, right? I mean, does the Board of Ed have anything to say about any of this?
You know, the Board of Ed is asking for support from the city, and they want school resource officers, but the city has, under this administration, said pay up $1 million and we'll give them to you. And meanwhile, the city owes the school district $12 million. But there's a lot to talk about and unpack there. We're going to pick this up when we come back from break. You'll listen to what happened here. Don't change that down. No. The reason is on Instagram, sometimes Instagram shuts off your feed if you play music that is popular. Yes. And it sucks because it's like, I can lose the whole show because
Thanks.
of music. So that's why I put it up there so that we don't have to worry about it. Hey guys, thank you all for joining. I'm just gonna
Heart valve replacement,
grab
one of
this.
the highest survival rates in New York. We train cardiac physicians to perform TAVR.
Alan, what's up, man?
The largest transplant
Oh, if you're
program
still
in
here.
all with doctors from Columbia, right here in Westchester. Leading heart care closer to home. Learn more at nyp.org/more-Westchester. Stay amazed. New York Presbyterian. Organ Transplantation and Research Network, Needles 2022. New York State data 2017-2019.
Manhattan Beer Distributors is Westchester County's leading beverage distributor, serving all types of businesses like fine restaurants, grocery stores, and supermarkets in New York City, Long Island, and upstate New York with the highest quality beverage products for 30 years. Manhattan Beer
It's not on right now,
offers a full line of
but it's
alcohol beverage products like Coors Light, the area's
it'll be
number
on
one
in a
light
moment.
beer sponsor of the National Football League and the New York City ING
Why does
Marathon.
free fall?
Manhattan Beer Distributors also offers the country's number one imported beer, Corona
Just
Extra
speak.
from Mexico, and a long
Speak.
line of
Speak your
quality
mind.
imported beers from all over the world. In addition, Manhattan
I'll ask
Beer
you a question.
Distributors offers the best
I'll ask you
quality
to
specialty beers
introduce
like
yourself.
Blue, Saranac, Keegan Ales, and so much more. Manhattan Beer Distributors also offers the best in non-alcoholic brands like San Pellegrino, Aquafina, and Perrier waters. And don't forget the best iced tea around, New Leaf Teas. To see their full product line, go to www.manhattanbeer.com. For more information on how Manhattan Beer Distributors can best serve your business, please contact them at 1-800-BEER-INC. That's 1-800-233-7462.
This is WVOX at 1460. Greenberg and Co-op City.
1460. And now back to What Happened Here with Rich Thomas, the former mayor of Mount Vernon, on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. My name is Rich Thomas, former mayor of Mount Vernon. You're listening to What Happened Here on 1460 on your AM dial, worldwide at WVOX.com. Now, we ask this question every Wednesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. What happened here? What happened with the particular situation, a particular question, something be it national, global, local? And for the past couple of weeks, Mount Vernon has unfortunately seen too much violence, too much crime, and too many things have gone on. And we've been focusing a lot on Mount Vernon because these issues are impacting everybody, and it's really, really, really disheartening. Before we went to break, Lorraine asked a question: what does the school board have to say about all of this? And it's a valid question. And the question is, Lorraine, did you hear about what happened even yesterday at the school in Mount Vernon Elementary School? Okay.
No.
All right. If you're sitting down, sit down. If you're not sitting down, sit down.
All right, I'm down.
Whew. So yesterday, a man high on PCP
What went into the school?
with the pit bull, and it's like, what? And then you get speechless, right? And then the kids are, in jeopardy. This guy actually, he did it twice in the same, let's say hour or so. And what's really, really frustrating is one, the parents were not notified. Two, the police were not there in the schools because remember, this administration took the police out of the schools and I put them there because I was afraid of active shooters.
Oh my God.
And I wanted the school resource officers to double up as a mechanism to inspire young people, develop a relationship, build trust, all the good things. But also in the event a bad guy like this high guy with the pit bull walking into a elementary school,
An elementary school. Oh my gosh.
the police have to then be called. They get there, but that's minutes, almost 20 minutes into the episode. I mean, think of the damage that could have been done if this pit bull went wild.
Yeah, I am speechless about that. I am. Because I know in your show, parents aren't even allowed in the schools. You have to be buzzed in. And then you have to sign it. And, they know who's supposed to be in there and who isn't, our security people.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But the thing is, these kids that are going astray, as far as I'm concerned, Richard, you can tell from when they're in elementary school if they have a problem. but it's not addressed there. Either the parents don't want to face it, the principals don't have the backup of administration to contact parents or to try to talk to the parents. And that the young person that's with you, he knows who the bullies were in school. He probably knew where you could get a gun. He probably knew the kids that were on drugs and where to get it. He knew where to go and not go in the school if you wanted to get in trouble or not get in trouble. The kids know. So I think as adults, we have to tell them, stay straight, do what you're supposed to do. And also, when the budget comes around for Mount Vernon, make sure art and music and sports are not eliminated under any condition. Because for kids that are in trouble or want to go astray, if you could get them to to participate in an art program or music or some type of sport that doesn't cost the parents $1 million to join, I really think we can start back there and help children.
And amen to that. And I can tell you that that type of engagement is essential. And the fourth grade is typically where clinical studies start and recommend, intervention and enrichment begin. But in Mount Vernon, we've seen that element um, not reach the children, and that's where again, that's always been my issue. Like I have two young children
Mhm.
that I'm raising in Mount Vernon, and it's really, really, really frustrating to see that we pay more in taxes than any city in Westchester, arguably the highest city taxes in the country, and we're not getting the services to match. And it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, you're paying the same price because you're paying rent and you're not getting the services. So the school district, they have a lot of answering to do, a lot of questions to answer, but the city and it, also has an obligation to respond to the reality. There's a reality here that you just laid out that young people know. And that's what I was telling Mondo when he called earlier. I said, look, Mondo, I get it. We can get the National Guard, but we don't need it. We need to sit down with the kids, sit down with some of the parents, and recognize that some of these parents may be working two or three jobs and they do need help. But
Yes.
in the meantime, the city can help by offering, like you said, arts, sports, electronic sports, anything. But nothing's being offered right now, but we're paying maximum money.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be after school as well. Sometimes kids need an escape from the lunchroom
There you go.
and they have no place to go. And it's a tough thing if you don't sit at the right table or you're ostracized. But if they had a room to go to do some art or to pick up an instrument or to talk about last night's sports game, it would help, I think, so much.
So Jared, you're here. You want to add to this, Jared?
Uh, yes.
So Jared, this is his first time on radio. I'm putting him on the spot.
I'm yourself. Same problem, Gary. I mean, I'm not trying to hide it, say only Mount Vernon. But I mean, do you think if when you were in high school, if you had a place to go at lunchtime, not necessarily the lunchroom, it would have helped? Or if you could have had an after job, I mean, a lot of these jobs that kids used to have in my era, the adults are doing them now. I mean, you know,
Yeah, there's definitely been a huge shift in the workforce due to technology, but we can talk about technology and job displacement. But Jared, the other day, I'm going to ask you to repeat the question, Jared, that you asked me the other day, because he stopped me and asked me this question.
okay.
What is the future of the youth in Mount Vernon?
And that is a question we're going to pick up when we come back from break. Don't change that dial. Lorraine, hang on if you can. You're
Okay.
listening to What Happened Here on WVOX.
I'll follow you along.
That's all right. No, but she had a lot to say. She's saying it, and her point is, you know, kids know.
Yeah.
Kids know who the bad kids are, who the bullies are, and kids will talk with an adult that they trust to kind of engage that bully or that bad kid. That's the point she was making. And you know, and the point that I'm making is
World and national news. Here's the latest update from
If we just engage and talk with you and connect you to something that's positive, you will more than likely stick with that positive thing. That's it. You know, it's like you didn't know that the guy down the block could give you a job. You didn't know that. You didn't know that because, you know,
The lack of information.
right. Knowledge is power. So the moment that connection was made, now you got new opportunity. So that's what that's about. But when we come back from break, you know, we'll just talk and just, you know, let Lorraine and everybody that's listening know that, you know, you and your friends want to do better, and let everybody know that you guys just need programs and support. You, because of your mom, take you to the guidance center. That's a great place to start. And that's something that we could talk about. But I just want you to mention, like, you know, you need more support.
Think about guidance, support, information, and the guts. Trying to put it.
Yeah, just anything. Yeah.
First year cashback match. From see terms and learn more at discover.com/membership. Some liquid times warranty.
Selfies with all the lights.
I bought a snow globe at the single cloud.
Don't overthink it. Just, and and the question I'll ask you some of the stuff so you remember. Can you just tell us about, you know, when you know, after you left high school, you know, what programs were available to you, or, you know,
None.
And now with your latest up-to-date
so
forecast.
tell us about, you graduated last year, right?
WVOX.
2 years ago?
Yeah, you graduated at the height of COVID.
Westchester County and the Pacific
And
Northwest Wednesday
where did
afternoon.
opportunity go? Where were the
Sunshine
programs for you? You know,
Temperatures will climb to the upper 70s.
that's all.
West winds gust to 20.
Oh, right
Mostly
after,
clear
you know,
skies
2021,
tonight.
you graduated
Fall
from
back
high
into the
school,
upper 50s.
right?
Mostly
2021.
sunny, continue very
Yeah,
warm for this time of year. On Thursday, highs will climb into the low to middle 80s. Mostly sunny, high near 85 on Friday. Showers possible on Saturday, otherwise mostly cloudy, cooler weather, lower 70s. Mostly cloudy, highs in the upper 60s with showers on Sunday. Received by letter A, June 1460 WVOX, a windy global Indian station.
It's easy for you to get on the air and talk to your neighbors. Join the forum on 1460 WVOX.
1460 WVOX. And now back to What Happened Here with Rich Thomas, the former mayor of Mount Vernon, on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. My name is Rich Thomas, former mayor of Mount Vernon. You're listening to What Happened Here on WVOX and Whitney Global Media Station. And we're here every Wednesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. asking the question, what happened here with a particular situation? And the situation that we're discussing right now is the public safety crisis in Mount Vernon. This is for the second week in a row, and we're asking the question about the school board. I promise all the listeners out there, I will get members of the school board on the show, or at least I'll invite them on, and I'll invite others that want to see an improvement in the Mount Vernon City School District to participate, talk about it, because, you know, at the end of the day, how can we have a scenario where a man high as a kite walk into an elementary school with a pit bull? And it's unacceptable. Heads need to roll, and for the again, Mount Vernon to not have school resource officers in the schools is another signal that, you know, there are people in place that are in power that are not compassionate about the people. Now, if you want to call in, the phone number is 914-636-0110. Again, that's 914-636-0110. And, you know, on the line we have Lorraine, but in studio we have a special guest, Jared Smith. And Jared was, you know, he stopped me last week. I'm gonna ask him to repeat the question and then tell us a little bit about, you know, his transition from graduating high school and where were the programs for him going back to 2021 when, we're just coming out of the pandemic per se, or still in the pandemic, but still, uh, he could talk about before and after because he was in the middle of it. So, Jared, what was the question, and what happened after you graduated high school? Where were the programs that we're talking about?
Where's the future of the youth in Mount Vernon? First thing I want to say is, Brianna, I love you. I'm dressing all white. Whenever you're ready, when's the wedding? And while I was in school, there's plenty of sports programs, a lot of in school activities to do, a lot of after school programs. Like I was in an engineering class for a couple weeks. It was fun. Robotics class, bunch of programs. But after the pandemic hit, we started going online school. It was never the same. There was way less activities to do. Actually, there's none. Because since it was online, it's on a computer. And
Then you graduated, and then where were the programs to help, you get connected to a job or the next chapter of your life?
there weren't much. Only at the Guidance Center, the Mount Vernon Guidance Center. That's a great place to go. They will help you get certifications, help you with college, language barriers, any type of help you need. It was there. I went to Miss Keisha Carter. Great help, great support. She helped me with anything I asked her with. She was there, ready to help, happy to help.
And for those that don't know, the Guidance Center is a great place for a variety of services to nonprofit, and they step into the gap to help people. But but Jared is a unique, person in that his family, his mother cares about, and his mom is pushing him in the right direction. The question is what Mondo was pointing out, and you were pointing out too, Lorraine. Where are the other parents to do the same type of engagement? And Jared, he can describe some of the people he knew that were not engaged, and he can talk about a little bit about, you know, the pressures that they face.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, parents have to be parents. I really don't believe you could be friends. I mean, I'm sure Jared, feels sometimes his mother maybe pushed him a little bit too much, or he didn't want to be bothered listening. But, listen to the adults. Well, the adults that are going to make a difference in your life, because you are the future of Mount Vernon, and people are depending on you. I know it's hard to say sometimes, but they are.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, the pandemic has ruined a lot of students' lives, I believe.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids have gone off to college, but they come home after the first year because they just can't cope with it.
Unprepared.
Yes, very unprepared. And if you have to get a job, Gary, you get a job and you can always go to night school. If you want to really go to college, you can do night school because sometimes you get the most out of it because you would be with adults in your class, and the teachers teach differently to adults rather than instead of the kids.
Hmm.
Yeah, when I was in school, I had classmates that were killed. Good classmates. It was good students, good people all around. Participated in after school activities, and he wasn't around bad crowds, but yet he was still murdered. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm
Which
sure
you,
the parents of Mount Vernon are petrified when their kids go out that they're not going to return. And that's a sad way to live your life. It's a horrible way.
absolutely.
And these bullies have real long-term consequences. I mean, be it, a 30-second interaction, it still sends shivers up and down your spine to hear, your 7-year-old or your 12-year-old or 14-year-old say, there's this bully that won't stop. And
Yeah.
and what really is, infuriating is with Kayla Green. Her parents went to the school district, they went to the city,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
did everything they could to try and get somebody to do their job and step in and say, all right, let's apply whatever best practice is out there.
Mhm. Mhm.
But there was no accountability, there was no consequence. It just went unchecked. And many of these kids, as you already pointed out, the pandemic, it not only ruined their lives, but it accelerated their dependence on technology.
Yeah.
And they don't connect the dot that there's a real consequence offline.
Skills were lost during that time.
Another call.
I see it in some of the elementary school kids just this year, they're starting to realize the person next to you has to be respected, has their own strength. It's just a whole thing, and it's gonna take time. But, Jared, once you get your life together, which it sounds like you are, maybe you could mentor someone as well.
Sure, it sounds like
Absolutely. But
Alright.
thank you so much, Lorraine. Thank you for calling in. We have another call on the line. Caller, thank you for joining. What happened here? Joanne. Hey, Joanne. Welcome to the show.
Hi, I didn't think Lorraine was finished yet. How are you?
Tremendous. Thank you for calling in, Joanne.
Yeah, I know, I'll be quick too, and it's very sad what these kids are going through today, and a lot of it's because of the pandemic. And then, the absence of parents, there are a lot of parents that are not there, or, and it makes it so difficult for these kids. I'm so upset. And you know what upsets me, Rich, more than anything?
Tell me.
That the fact that the bullying takes place and it's worse than ever. I was listening to a psychiatrist the other day, and I know from my own day, and I'm Dennis stage, so we're old. We're older than you.
More wise. More wise.
Yeah, well, whatever. But anyway, but you know what? So, but I put a posting on my Facebook page. You can hear me okay now?
Yes.
Okay. The thing is, and I go up to Teague and go to the schools. I don't have the world of knowledge in that, but I've had enough psychology and I've had enough bullying. I put a post on my page on Facebook, and people my age, classmates of mine came on and said that they were bullied.
Wow.
Fortunately, I was never bullied. But they said, oh yeah, I even asked Dennis, and Dennis said, oh yeah, there was a bully even as I was bullied. And I'm like, I am so, but now if you can imagine how much worse it is now. I'm sure you know.
Mhm.
But the psychiatrists are saying that, oddly enough, well, not oddly, I mean, I guess it maybe it stands to reason, they do not tell their parents a lot of these kids. And when they do go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, they want their parents out of the room. They don't really want to tell them what's going on. So it's very important for these parents to pull it out of the kids. Because I used to have my kids over. They'd come home, they'd have their snacks before they get homework. What did you do in school today? And this and that. Some of my friends said, my God, what do you just, no. I have to know. We're parents. We need to know. And the other thing is now, I think that, okay, I'll just tell you one more thing. My nephew in Mount Vernon School System is a middle school gym teacher. Okay, and he said that one mother, he sent one of the kids out of his classroom for cursing. Just said the S word. So it wasn't even big bad curse. But still, nevertheless, you're a middle schooler. What are you cursing about? But anyway, he sent the kid to the principal. The mother comes in. The mother was screaming at my nephew. She said, my son is allowed to curse at home. How dare you tell my kid what to do? Imagine that.
Wow.
And Johnny said, oh, oh my God.
It's okay. It's a person.
The gym teacher said, well, I'm sorry, but in my class, I don't allow the curse word. I mean, this is what you're up against. It's so
And
what is Blue Jared saying that? I wanted to know.
I say my opinion on profanity use is just use it around the right crowd. If you're not in the right audience, right crowd, just don't use it. But in your own time, around your own people, you're free.
That's
Well-
okay. Absolutely. I believe in that. Sharon, I have girlfriends my age that curse. That curse like super. They curse worse than 10. But I just never did because it wasn't me. But I don't care about that, but not in school then.
Not at school.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're coming up on the next commercial break. Joanne, you're welcome to stay on if you have some more questions, but
No, absolutely not. I'm enjoying your show anyway. You take care, Sharon. You be good, us.
you got it. Well, don't change that dial. We're going to come back and we're going to hear more from Jared when we come back on what happened here on WVOX.
How done? I'm warming up.
Here you go.
Jim? It's more like it's a conversation more than anything. I thought it'd be like me just talking and like got a free ball idea, but it's like it's a conversation.
Conversation.
You can handle it.
This is VOX.
In the north end of New Rochelle, you'll find an absolutely top-notch printer, one of the very best in the entire county. Minuteman Press is known for its fine work far beyond the South
Getting
Shore
ready for our
area.
next
In
me-
fact,
next
this
thing of
particular
sushi.
Minuteman Press is certainly the class of the fleet
Well,
when it
again,
comes
look
to
at that
full
up there.
service
Dicky's
community
barbecue
printing.
pit.
Located just off
Yeah,
North
nice
Avenue
having
in
it.
New Rochelle, in the narrow Waikagill walkway across the
That's
parking lot
good.
from Acme, Minuteman Press is a terrific resource for individual and small to medium-sized companies who want something very special when it comes to printing. No matter how big or how small your needs, you'll
Nice
get
relief.
the skill and craftsmanship
Say it again?
Minuteman
Nice.
is known for
Yeah,
at
they are.
very reasonable prices. From business cards to brochures, color copies, high-speed printing, individual booklets and
You just
flyers,
radio talk
it's
about.
Minuteman
Yeah,
Press.
every week.
Down that walkway when you're headed to Acme, offering
Weekend,
quality
Wednesday
printing
between
at
12 noon
very
and
good prices. Call Minuteman
And,
Press in New Rochelle, 914-576-0335. 914-576-0335.
I'm Catherine Miller, founder of the
Your
Miller
job get
Law
less
Group.
busy when
No.
you're back made.
no.
Divorce is hard. People are uncertain and all kinds of
Gotcha.
fears come up. Divorce
You
is also
got a lot in your mind
divorce.
that you just
You're
remember.
untangling threads from so many aspects of your life, your finances, your children,
How do you
your
like
legal
unwind from all
I
this
believe
stress?
in taking an integrative approach to
Well, that's
divorce.
be a radio question.
Because divorce happens.
I'm
at
gonna
the
ask you, how do you
intersection of
unwind
where
from
you've been
stress?
Yeah, you
and
can
where
leave
you're
questions.
It should point you in the direction that you want to go in, taking into account the
I would say
things that are
coaching my
important
kids,
to you, taking into
which
account
is
your children.
stressful.
You have a choice as to how to make those
But
decisions.
the way I really
You
unwind is in the
can
gym,
do
working
it
out.
with
I'm
compassion
gonna work
and
school
art
is work. I'm gonna say, since
focus
the pandemic,
rather
I've been
than
having trouble
reaction,
coping with stress
anger,
and anxiety
with thoughts of
unwinding.
revenge.
Do you have any
Give me a
ideas on how?
call. Let's talk about it. 914
Next radio host.
7765 or find me online
Let's get you a show here. Jumping off
www.westchesterfamilylaw.com.
with
This
Jared.
is Jeff Champion, the host of Building Knowledge with the
One good
Building and
idea.
Realty Institute, here
That
on
might be
1460 WVOX. Please join us every Friday morning at 11:30 a.m. as we address issues of importance to building, realty, and construction sectors, as well as to the general business community. That's Building Knowledge with the Building and Realty Institute, every Friday at 11:30 a.m. right here on 1460 WVOX. Hi, this is Dr. Steve Zelikov, Central New York City. Please join me at lunchtime, 12:30 to 1 p.m., the third Monday of every month on
See how
WVOX.
fast the hour went?
My show, Phone
That was a
Call.
while.
We'll be speaking to
47 minutes into the show.
surgery, joint replacement, sports medicine, nutrition, and rehabilitation, covering topics that affect your health and
About to be
wellness.
off. I mean,
I hope
about to be on in a minute.
And join me as we explore these topics together, third Monday of every month at 12:30 on 1460 WVOX. The most fun in the morning. Good morning, Westchester, with Dennis and Tommy. Day mornings from 6 to 9, right here on 1460 WVOX.
Now back to What Happened Here with Rich Thomas, the former mayor of Mount Vernon, on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. My name is Rich Thomas, former mayor of Mount Vernon. You're listening to What Happened Here on WVOX at Whitney Global Media Station. And we're here every Wednesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. asking the question, what happened here? And this week we have another focus on Mount Vernon, the public safety crisis. We had a great conversation with our listeners and our special guest, Jared Smith, who's a young man who recently graduated from the STEAM Academy, went to the same school, some of the same groups, and knew some of the young people that died in Mount Vernon that um, not only impacted him but impacted all of us. And Jared was talking with Joanne and Lorraine and Mondo earlier about some of the dynamics that need to be done so that we can uh, deal with the problems that we're seeing. And all it takes is a little bit more hard work, a lot more listening, but also some doing. And Mondo, I think, had the right description up front. Nothing's being done on the city side, and it was pointed out that nothing's being done on the school district side. But this is where conversations like this and platforms like WVOX give people in the community an opportunity to voice their concerns and speak truth to power. And as we get ready to wind down the show, Jared wanted to ask a few questions. I'm going to hear a little bit more about him and his journey. And Jared, so what's jumping off?
I'll start with a question. Ever since the pandemic, I've been issues struggling with stress and anxiety.
Mhm.
So I want to ask you, what are your ways to unwind from the day?
So for me, at least, there's a lot of different dynamics going on, being even getting ready for a radio show or just dealing with client work, or even when, I was running the city, there's a lot of pressures that come about. And I can tell you that the best way for me has been exercising and I've been focused on that health of eating differently, eating more healthy foods, but exercise is probably the best way for me to deal with the pressure and release the tension and release the stress.
Hmm. All right, I'm gonna try some of those.
Yeah, well, you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning if you wanna work out with me and the crew at Extreme Fitness on Gramberton, which has the biggest universe of equipment, specialized equipment than any other facility in this region. So shout out to Extreme Fitness. But one of the things I will say though is, and this is a question I guess back for you, you know, what's next? I mean, now that the summer and the weather is getting better, more people are gonna be coming outside. Um, do you have any concerns about, as you mentioned before, people your age that do not go to the guidance center? Do you think there's a way to get them to go check out the guidance center or try and engage in something more positive than getting caught up and lost in the streets?
I would say advertise it better. Like let it be known that there's support and help if needed available. Cause I didn't know about it. So my brother was telling me, "Yo, you need help with it. Check out the guidance center." And I went there. It was amazing. So we need more access to information, better advertising. We got to show what Mount Vernon got. Like it has some good things, but it's your job to go find it. We need to bring the goodness out as well as bringing in more goodness.
And I remember, one of the programs that I funded when I was there and when I was in office was a construction trades training course for the guidance center when we were building the bridges with the MTA. Um, you said your brother went to that training program?
Yeah,
There you go.
it was like a 8-week course. He got his Rosha or some his construction license. It's called him wiring, how to lay wood, piping, a bunch of trade activities.
And look, there's a big future in construction so long as we get the mix right. I'm not going to get into the policy dynamics that are ahead from supply chain to interest rates, but I will say that learning a trade is transformation, and working with trades uh, is one of the things that I do, and I can only tell you that I look forward to connecting you and your brother to some of the trades that are out there that may have apprentice windows opening. But Mark Vernon Barbell, yes, I follow you. You know I do, Shireen. And Mark Vernon Barbell is like the creme de la creme when it comes to weightlifting and the type of equipment that they have. They are actually the top premier. And Extreme is up there with the amount and the equipment that they have, the size. But Mount Vernon Barbell, oh my goodness, I want to do something with y'all because I see y'all, the competitions that you hold, and this is an online comment by everybody that's watching. And we have a growing sport in weightlifting, and there's a woman in Mount Vernon. And I hope to have her as a guest on the show one day. She's truly inspirational. She was posting some videos about how um, about a month back, not a month, a few months back, maybe a little less than a year back, she was trying to um, lift some weight that she couldn't lift. And next thing you know, she documented her journey and she crushed that goal. So I'm gonna check out Mount Vernon Barbell. Hopefully they welcome me in there. Hopefully I can maybe I can spot you one day, Shireen. I don't know, but you be lifting some real weight, and I'm gonna have to get my weight up to get up in there. Go for it.
This is Joe. With the guidance and mentioned, advertising, they say the best advertising.
Hmm.
So if you can spread the word and go from one person to another, go from so on and so on and so on. So
That's a great idea.
something too. If you have arts or music programming outside of school for the kids to go like they learn dancing or music or guitar or if there's one actually this or that something.
Not that I know of.
That's what's missing.
Big time. And
Is there a budget problem? And number two, I want to find out this kid that came in with the dog.
yes.
No security guard. Is there a budget problem with that one too?
I think it's a brain dead problem when it comes to the pit bull in the school, and I think it's a brainless problem when it comes to not having the vision to put the programs or the money behind the programs in the community. And this is something that, in brief, um, I can tell you that the the doors are usually locked at the school, but for some reason I guess it was open, and who knows what happened and why they were unlocked. But that's something I'm pretty sure is going to be unpacked. But the schools need a real reality check, and so does City Hall with the school resource officers. They need to be in the schools, plain and simple. Like it's no longer a luxury. It's an essential item, it's an essential service to provide to parents, especially in this day and age of active shooters and now, guys high as a kite walking in with dogs in schools. I mean, we have to draw the line somewhere and demand it. It's ridiculous. But I can tell you in quick, Tony Dofat, if for those of you out there that know the name, Tony Dofat was like one of the original founders of hip hop. Worked very closely with Diddy, Mary J. Blige, Biggie Smalls. You name all the big, hits from Mount Vernon. Um, Tony wanted to open up a music school and run a music program with Mount Vernon, but the funding was blocked. And that's where it goes back to the toxic politics. But I'm optimistic for the future of Mount Vernon because a lot of those elements have been removed from being obstacles. So um, hopefully now people can see that there's a real benefit to investing resources in places where people need it from a cultural and economic standpoint. But definitely appreciate that insight. Now, Jared, we're running down on time. Do you have any final thoughts, any questions? Would you like to come back on the show again, talk more? Tell us.
Yeah, I would love to come back on this show and talk more. And it's you don't have to, you can be in the right crowd and still run into unfortunate situations. It's being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's just, it happen, but it shouldn't happen.
And that's the key thing, and that's why we work so hard. And Al Boogie, send me a direct message online, and I'll get you the information about Malvern and Barbell, or tap up to Sincerely Shireen's profile. You'll find out more about Malvern and Barbell for Extreme Fitness. It's Extreme with an X Fitness Malvern, and you can find them on Instagram and see that they have a huge presence as well. But nonetheless, I thank everybody for calling in, all the callers from Mondo, Lorraine, Joanne, Gerald for tapping in. Jared, I guess, the reality is we all want better. There are more people out there that want better than those that do not. And I don't believe that the silent majority is outnumbered. We need to raise our voice from time to time and make it clear that, we all want better. And Jared, I'll leave you with the final word. What are we going to do?
We're gonna ensure the future of the youth of Mount Vernon.
That's right. We're going to make sure that they know the future is in Mount Vernon. Thank you so much for joining. See you next week.
Kill.
There you go. Say hello, everybody.